5 secrets you should keep to yourself for success. The air was thick with the scent of wet concrete and burnt coffee as he walked into the room. It was a moment he had spent years dreaming about. This was the chance. Yet, as he looked around, something felt off. The room, filled with ambitious faces, each chasing a version of success, seemed to close in around him. He had everything he needed to make his mark, but the weight of the world felt heavier than ever. As he took a step forward, he realized that this moment, his big break, wasn't the answer he had expected. And as the hum of conversation and clinking of coffee cups filled his ears, a truth began to settle in, one he never saw coming. The world tells you that success is all about visibility. It's all about telling everyone what you're doing, right? Look at me. Look at what I'm about to accomplish. You post your progress online, share every milestone, broadcast your next big move. It's what the world expects. It's the playbook for success, or so he thought. But as he stood there, it became clear. The path to true success isn't about broadcasting every step you take. Here he was, bright-eyed and full of hope, thinking he had cracked the formula. He was hustling, networking, putting himself out there, making sure everyone knew his name. It was the only way, right? But as soon as he started speaking about his plans, something changed. He learned the hard way that the most successful people, the ones who stay at the top, don't give away everything. They don't share their next move with everyone who will listen. It wasn't long before he noticed it. The more he revealed, the more control he lost. At first, it was small things, casual remarks, a little hint here and there. But soon, the truth became undeniable. Every time he shared his next move, someone else would beat him to it. Faster, louder, more confident. His ideas, once his own, became theirs the moment he spoke them. He had been wrong all along. He was playing the game, but he wasn't following the rules. In a world where everyone wanted to be seen, he realized that the real winners were the ones who stayed quiet. They didn't shout their plans to the world. They simply executed them quietly and effectively. The more he spoke, the more he diluted his own power. He saw it now. It wasn't about who could shout the loudest, but about who could remain silent, who could keep their cards close to their chest. So he stopped. He stopped telling people about his goals, his dreams, his next big move. He learned that in a world filled with people desperate for validation, the real power lies in staying grounded, focused, and, most importantly, silent. It wasn't easy. The pressure to constantly seek approval, to shout louder than the rest, never truly went away. He found himself questioning his every move, turning to mentors for advice, but each time he did, the answers came back muddled, contradictory. Everyone had their own version of success, and each one seemed just a little too simple, a little too flashy. But the more he absorbed, the less clear things became. It seemed like everyone else was a step ahead, but in reality, the price of validation was costing him more than he realized. There are secrets about success, things most people will never tell you. They're not grand theories or abstract advice. They are deeply personal, almost sacred truths that could change everything. These are the things they won't tell you in the motivational speeches or TED Talks. These are the truths hidden in plain sight, waiting for you to uncover them. There are things you shouldn't even whisper to your closest friends. They seem harmless, even innocent at first. Just a conversation, a shared moment of excitement. But what most don't realize is that the moment you let certain truths slip, you expose yourself to forces that can completely derail your progress. At first, you think sharing is safe. You think it's just a way to connect, to bring others into your world. But what you don't see is the gradual erosion of your power. When you let too many people in, the raw energy you once had, the very drive that fueled your ambitions, becomes diluted. And the more diluted your power becomes, the harder it gets to climb. You start losing that edge, that sharpness that makes your plan so potent, so unique. The higher you want to rise, the more you must learn to keep certain things to yourself. He began to see the writing on the wall. He had admired the successful people around him, the ones who had risen to the top, seemingly without all the noise. They didn't broadcast their next move, didn't talk endlessly about their future goals. They simply moved in silence, worked with purpose, and let their results do the talking. But as he reflected on this, he began to ask himself, why is this the truth? Why do some things need to stay unsaid? It's not just a matter of privacy. It's deeper than that. When you share too much too soon, you risk losing the very edge that makes your plan powerful. The more you speak about what you're going to do, the more you give others a chance to steal the essence of your idea. They take the vision you've been shaping and they run with it, often faster, with more confidence, and sometimes even more resources. Every word you speak can weaken the unique value of your dream. So why are we talking about this now? Because the world has a skewed idea of success. It's not about making noise. It's not about throwing every achievement in the face of your competitors. In fact, the more noise you make, the more distracted you become. In a world where everyone's competing to be the loudest, to gain attention at any cost, there's a different way to win. A quieter, more focused path. And if you're serious about success, you need to start keeping some things to yourself. There's power in silence. It's a hidden strength, one that allows you to grow, refine, and shape your vision without outside influence. Protecting your plans until the moment is right gives you the clarity and control you need to act with precision. But what exactly are these secrets, and why do they matter? You've seen the consequences of talking too much. You've witnessed how quickly things slip from your grasp when you share everything. So let's dive deeper into this truth, the truths that most people will never hear, the ones that remain hidden from the masses because they simply don't fit the mold of what success is supposed to look like. You might be wondering, where do you even begin? How do you know what to keep to yourself? How do you guard these secrets without feeling isolated or disconnected? The key is understanding that not everything needs to be spoken aloud to be real. Not everything needs to be validated by the outside world for it to be powerful. For the first time, the young man understood this. Feeling both defeated and enlightened, he began his new journey with a shift in perspective. He stopped sharing every detail, every idea, and every goal. Instead, he focused on building in silence, researching deeply, executing quietly, and perfecting his craft. He let his work speak for itself, and soon enough, results began to follow. While the world around him continued to shout, hustle, and chase visibility, he had learned something profound. The quiet path, the path of focus, patience, and self-discipline, was the one that led to real success. He had learned that in order to thrive, he didn't need to be at the center of attention. He didn't need to show the world his every move. He simply needed to create, perform, and evolve at his own pace. But it wasn't just about keeping quiet. It was about knowing when to speak and, more importantly, when to remain silent. It was about understanding that your vision, your essence, the work that makes you unique, is too precious to be diluted by constant chatter. If you want your ideas to hold their value, you must protect them. And that protection comes from silence. Silence is not weakness. Silence is strength. As the days turned to weeks and weeks into months, the young man's journey unfolded in ways he never expected. Opportunities came, but they didn't arrive in the flashy, loud ways he had anticipated. They came quietly, when he was ready to receive them, when he had finally built the strength to stay quiet, to focus, and to let his actions speak louder than his words. By the time he reached the height of success, he had gained a deeper understanding of the process. He understood that success didn't stem from what he shared with others. It didn't come from broadcasting his ambitions to the world. Success was rooted in the strength to hold back, to focus, and to build quietly until the moment was right. But here's the kicker, the final lesson. The most successful people in the world are not the ones who scream their plans from the mountaintops. They're the ones who work from the shadows. They know when to step into the light and when to remain in the dark. As he reflected on his journey, he couldn't help but ask himself, what would have happened if I had kept my mouth shut sooner? What if I hadn't shared every little detail with the world? What if I had simply stayed focused, stayed quiet, and kept moving forward, step by step? It's a question he'll never truly answer. But as time passed, it became clear. The quieter path, the path of silent preparation and execution, led him to everything he had ever wanted, and more. So now I leave you with this question. Are you ready to protect the secrets that could change your life? What's the one thing you've been sharing too much? The one thing that deep down you know you should keep to yourself? Is it time to let the silence work for you? Think about it. If you've stayed until the end, drop a comment with the word silence to show you're ready to embrace the quiet power of success. And if you know someone who needs to hear this message, share the video with them. This hidden truth might just be the key they've been searching for. And remember, true success doesn't need to shout. It only needs to be built.